It was on my heart just to talk a little bit about goals and goal setting. And a lot of people don't necessarily know how to set goals. So you got people that set goals, but truth is many times that people set what they quote as goals, they're really a wish. See, a goal has to be certain things that you have to put in place in order for that goal to turn into fruition. A wish is something that just sounds nice. Like, I want to do this. I want to lose 10 pounds. Okay, but how are you going to do that? I want to run a 5K. Okay, but how are you going to do that? See, what you're saying is you're saying what you want to do, but you don't have a game plan to back up your intentions of what it is you're trying to accomplish. Many people say they want to lose weight. Many people say they want to eat better. Many people want to say, I want to go from eating regular to pescatarian to vegan. Many people want to do all these other actions, but they have no game plan to meet and reach the threshold of success. So what I wanted to do is, before we actually got into the exercise component, I think it's important for people to understand how to goal set, how to set goals the right way in order to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And many people are kind of missing the boat. So I like to, I always like to start things off like we just said, that you have goals, and then you have what's called wishes. And they're completely different. And the way people handle their goals are completely, many times, not right. And it's a perfect example because so many people at the beginning of the year, they say, oh, my New Year's resolutions is this. And you come up with this whole boatload of New Year resolutions. And then by the third week in January, those start fading away. Slowly. It's not immediate. I mean, you're headstrong. First week, second week, start fading. Third week. But by February and March, you completely forgot about what those were. And then we do that the same thing again, month after month. Well, really, year after year after year, we set unrealistic goals, or we don't set goals at all. We set a wish, but we don't set up a platform in place in order to accomplish them. So in order for you to meet a goal, I like to use the acronym is called S.M.A.R.T. So S.M.A.R.T, you probably heard of S.M.A.R.T before. I'm going to kind of dig into it a little bit today. But S.M.A.R.T is an acronym that people should use in order to accomplish their goals. And let me tell you, it's 5 letters, but all 5 of those letters has an acronym, and you have to meet up each one of those 5. So the first one, when you say S, basically means the goal has to be specific. You have to have a specific goal. Your M means that it has to be measurable or meaningful. A usually means agreed upon or achievable or attainable. And then you have R. R is realistic, relevant, rewarding, or at least result oriented. Meaning you got to write the thing down. You got to have some kind of nexus of what you want to meet. And then the last one, it has to be time-based. You have to set a time. You can't just say, I want to lose weight. Like, okay, but how long? You got to use a selection of time in order to do it. So anything you do has to be done in a systematic approach in order for you to try to meet any goal or anything you're trying to achieve. Because when you think about it, when you set a goal, the goal really should be a vision for your future. But it has to be ideal. It has to be written down. You have to have the ability to review it often. You have to put it in your heart, and you got to have it organized around multiple other goals. So you might have a big goal, but then on the big goal, you got to have little goals, little objectives that's going to allow you to have the vision to reach the big goal. So you got one big old goal, but then below that, you got to have little goals that you can achieve every day, every week, every month, every trimester, every buy to the year. But there's got to be little steps in order for you to achieve that the good one. And the big thing is, you got to remember though, that in order for you to also achieve the goals, you got to use your mouth. You got to say it out loud. You got to speak it into existence. You got to make this thing come to life. Because either anything, whether it being good or whether it being bad, it comes from the same source, and that's your mouth. So you got to be careful what you say. You can't just, sometimes you just need to be quiet. You might trip over something. You go, man, I'm always clumsy. I always trip over. Why am I so clumsy? You want, if that's what you want, then sure, keep saying it. But if that's not what you want, I suggest that you quiet down. You might have stumbled and fell, but you know what? You look at it, you find out, oh, wait, maybe there was something in the way. Next time, so that doesn't happen, let me pick this up so it's out the way. Oh, you stumbled and fell. You know what? You find out, man, I stumbled and fell, but I know that I'm going to get better every day. But don't doubt yourself and don't come up. Look, it's already done. The situation already happened. The last thing you need to do is to start reflecting on something you just did and then beat yourself up for it. It's over with. I mean, come on, y'all. So be careful what you say with your mouth. Your mouth provides existence. It can create success for you, but your same mouth can also destroy you. So you can't, you're going to have to write things down. You're going to have to speak it into existence. And you're going to have to probably change your thoughts and your behaviors. Because anything you're doing right now, the majority of it is coming from, maybe we talked about this before, maybe past situations that occurred. Something that might have been I don't know, something that occurred to you in the past, something that was in your environment before, maybe the way you grew up, maybe the way that your parents told you to do certain things. Those behaviors can easily be changed. But in order for those things to be able to change, you're going to have to create some habits. You're going to have to set some goals for yourself. And then you're going to have to make the goals yours. The last thing you want to do is use somebody else's goal. Just because your cousin is decided that they want to lose weight and you don't necessarily want to lose weight, don't jump on their bandwagon and use their goal. The goal needs to be yours. You can't use someone else's goal because that's not your goal, and you're not going to make that a driving force. If you're going to achieve anything, it's got to be of interest to you. It has to be yours. It has to be relevant. It has to be a big picture to you. The only way that you're going to stay motivated in a particular goal, it has to be yours, and you have to create a desire for you to have it. So that means then, guess what? Your goal can't be fuzzy. It can be vague. It has to be clear. It has to be sharp. It has to be clearly defined, and it has to be specific. You got to pray about it. You're probably going to have to hold that image until it sinks into your subconscious. You're going to have to speak it. Speak it more. Speak it again. See it. Visualize it and make it come to a fruition. Because remember, if you can think about a goal and you can try to achieve a goal, but if you don't have any action behind it, it's dead. So you can have all the faith. You can have some fear, but if you don't have any actions, what you're trying to do is dead. You must have action. You must back it behind some faith. And then you have to just take action. And don't worry about the end result. The fact that you did something extra, the universe will provide back to you. So let's talk about something that a lot of people probably don't even realize that they have. And it's something that God gave you, and it's called the RAS. RAS. RAS means the reticulating activating system. The reticulating activating system is a little thing in the back of your cerebellum, in the back of your brain, right here in the center of your brain, in the back. It's a very small thing. But really what it is, it's the guiding force of every goal that you achieved in the past. You've used it before, but you probably don't realize what it is and why it exists. So the RAS is the reticulating activating system. Now, let me explain to you how you used it in the past. Let's say you bought a car. Let's just analyze the last car that you bought. The car, whatever car you bought, and let's assume that it's I don't know, let's say it's a Mercedes. Let's say it's a Mercedes M5. Mercedes M5, it's black. It might have a beige interior. It's probably a nice looking car. That was the car that you wanted. And before you didn't want it, but all of a sudden you wanted it. And then you ended up buying it. You ended up taking it out of the lot. And then you start driving it around. And then all of a sudden you see this same exact car everywhere. The same exact black M5 Mercedes is everywhere with the same beige interior. Now, when you were driving around before, you didn't see it anywhere. Now all of a sudden you have it. And all of a sudden it's everywhere. What happens is that what you've done is you've activated your reticulating activating system, the RAS. The RAS is basically your goal center. It helps you achieve success. It helps you find the goals that you want to accomplish, because what it will do, remember, you drive around with this Mercedes. Trust me, those cars were around before. They were there the whole time. They're riding around. It's not like just because you bought a new car, all of a sudden these cars, all these other people bought these cars. No, what ends up happening is that you now have an interest about this car, and your brain goes, okay, let me help you find that particular goal. So all of a sudden that this happens to be important to you. So now your brain actually works towards finding and providing direction to the same exact goal for you. So your brain is basically what's called a heat-seeking missile. It's looking for a goal in order for it to accomplish and achieve something. And then when it finds it, it works hell and high water in order for you to achieve it. So that goes for anything. It doesn't have to be a car. It could be anything you accomplished in the past. It could be a college degree that you decided you wanted to go after. In the beginning, it was probably unrealistic to you to get a 4-year degree, 2-year degree, 4-year degree. Now all of a sudden you got a PhD and a master's degree. And you're like, man, you know why? Because you activated your reticulating activating system and it started helping you get to that goal and reach it. Same thing for weight loss. You lost weight because you focused on that weight loss and you came up with a date and you said 10 pounds in 90 days or whatever else you said. And guess what happened? All of a sudden your brain says, okay, that's what you want. Let me help you get it. It can give you all of those. It can make that available to you. But here's the problem, though. What it can't do is make you do it. It can't force you to do the action that's required. You see, you can achieve anything you want to achieve. But you got to come up with a game plan, and you're going to have to be consistent and persistent of your effort. You got to be relentless. You got to be that you basically, you see it, you're breathing it, you're talking it, you're speaking it, you're doing it, you're putting everything into it. And all of a sudden your brain goes, well, okay, fine, let's go then, let's go. But if you just keep talking about it and you put no action behind it, the brain just says, oh, this is just another cheap thrill that you've been looking at. This is nothing really you want. And it will just turn off that signal. And it'll allow you to continue to wander and mope around. And you got to have a goal. You got to have something that's solid in your mind and you cannot deviate. And absolutely, the enemy is going to attempt to knock you out of way. There's no question. When you try to get a goal, the enemy will attempt to distract you. Not maybe, not possibly. No, he will. Because the enemy don't want you to succeed. So if you have a goal and you set that thing plain, there's going to be distractions. It's up to you, though, to make a decision to move forward and just say, you know what? With all things through Christ strengthens me, I'm going to go get this thing. And you may waver a little bit, but you better keep your mind on the prize. You better keep your eye on that prize. I can promise you, if you focus on those goals and stay steady with it, you're going to get it. But you have absolutely no idea how long it's going to take. You don't know the time frame. You don't know the method of accomplishment. It may be completely different from the direction and the way that you are looking to obtain it. Because as you continue to go after your goals, you learn new things, like these workshops. You learn new things. And when you learn new things, you get better at it. And these are now all of a sudden new tools that you have in your toolkit that you didn't have before. But because you learn these new tools, now you can accomplish and prosper even better. You can't use the old tools that you had because apparently they weren't working. So that means you're going to have to find new tools. When you find the new tools, guess what? You find a new destiny. And when you find a new destiny, you can get forward and accomplish any task you want to. You have unlimited power. You have unlimited potential. You have unlimited possibilities. But you also have the ability to talk yourself right into it. But you also have the ability to talk yourself right out of it. So if you use your RAS, you're going to be winning already. It's already there for you. It doesn't go away. It just sits there. But it's saying, okay, what do you want me to do? And if you give it something to do, it'll run with you. If you don't, it'll just stay there and wait. You got two objectives. Let's say if you're a person and you're going into the woods, and let's say you're a hunter. Well, let's say you're a person in the military. And you got one person who has a shotgun. And a shotgun, the way it shoots, it sprays. Everything sprays out. There's really it just hits everything in place. You shoot a shotgun, it has a whole bunch of different pellets, and these gunshots go spread. So it affects the area. But then you have another person who's a sniper, and he's trained to look inside the scope, find an actual target, and focus directly on the target and take the target down. I got news for you. That's exactly what your RAS is designed to do. Your RAS is designed to do the exact same thing. It has you provided a target, and the mind will work towards getting that goal. But it needs a target first. And it also needs you to be active, moving towards that goal. Nonstop, relentless movement. And just get it. And at the end of the day, you don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm telling you, I've seen too many people. I've helped and coached too many people that have used their RAS for good and seen unbelievable goals that they assumed they never, ever could accomplish. They just got their mind right. It's already there. You already have it. You just got to use it. But most people don't know how. So use the RAS. All right, let's dig into the S.M.A.R.T. Let's dig back into S.M.A.R.T. Whenever you're focusing on a particular activity or a goal, you cannot operate this goal like it's a chore. You know what I mean? Like chores around your house. Saturday comes, you got to start vacuuming and cleaning, and you're like, oh my God, Saturday's coming. I got to clean up. Forget it. I'm just going to hire somebody to do this. That ain't a goal. And that's not how you should and will be able to treat your goal. If you're going to have a goal, you cannot make it as a chore. It has to be something that you want to do, and you have to desire to get it. When you think about it, when you make anything like a chore, you also have the tendency to put it off. And then you find out a way to avoid it altogether. Because you might have said, yeah, I'm going to clean up this weekend, and you didn't. And then the next week comes, and now you got dust balls everywhere where it's completely out of control. And then you have no choice but to hire somebody or just clean this mess up. But you're doing it not with the desire to do it. You're doing it because you've been put against the wall because of procrastination. Procrastination is a killer. You don't want to, you just get it over with. If you got to clean up, instead of moping around and wasting 2-3 hours talking about it, just get it over with. You'll feel much better about it, and you can just check it off and move on to something else. Because you're going to have regret later. If you don't do it right now, you're going to postpone it. You're going to postpone it. And now you got all these other things that are being postponed. And then you start getting stressed out because you got so much stuff that you're trying to do in the last minute. And we know what happens when you try to do stuff at the last minute. It never works in your benefit. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to exercise willpower, self-control. You're going to have consistent and persistent power towards your goal. You're going to have that feeling. You're going to have to exercise this not as a chore, but as something that you want to do as a desire. And this is why most people fail in accomplishing their goals, because they procrastinate and they talk themselves out of it. And it's easier for you to stay with your old habits. Remember, we're talking about habits. It's easy for you to stay with the old habit you have because you don't have to do anything. It's already designed. You already got the habit. So it's easy to do nothing. It's easy to just, your brain doesn't want to do changes anyway. It likes what you're doing, whether right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You're giving it something to do. But your RAS, reticular activated system, is not happy because you're giving it nothing to do. So you want to think about when you're doing anything approach, if you start thinking about what your goal is going to be, number one, the first step to success when you start setting up your goals is stop worrying that it's not going to work out. Most people will not set a goal because of fear of failure. Most people don't set a goal because of fear of failing. The fear of failure to them is stronger than having the success that they want to have. And the only reason why they have fear of failure because they're looking at their past and they're talking themselves down from where they should be. And because we talk negative to ourselves all the time, that happens to be an easy way out. I call it the chump's way out. That's a chump's way out. So you think about what influences your power. You think about the behaviors you're having, and then you got to just be able to know that you can get it. So first, stop worrying. Here's some of the steps I want you to think about in order for you to prepare for a goal and then make sure that it's yours. So number one, you got to write it down. The first thing you got to do is write the goal down and make it a future goal, something you can do in the future. The next thing is that you got to find out if it's really important to you. Is the goal for you? Is it really important to you? The next one is that you got to think about the purpose. What is the purpose of you doing it? Is it a benefit to you? Because many times you might say that you want to do something, but is the goal beneficial long-term for your success? You might say that I want to learn how to, I want to learn how to draw. I don't know. I want to learn how to draw. Okay. But what's the purpose? That you're bored and you just want to find something to do? But is there a goal behind that? What is the purpose of you doing that? Because you're bored? So yeah, you might have a goal, but then is the goal important to you? Yeah, maybe you want to paint because you're bored. But what is the purpose? The purpose can't be you're bored. That's not it, y'all. What is the purpose of you doing it? And then the next thing, are you prepared to make these things happen? Is it really important to you? What's the purpose of you doing it? Are you prepared to make what is required happen? Are you prepared to make the goals and the things that you have to back up? Are you prepared to make things happen in order to achieve the goal? And lastly, you got to ask yourself, what are the rewards and the benefits for you to create this new discipline? What is it long term down the road? What is it that's going to have you keep you the ability to focus and be excited about the new lifestyle that you're about ready to enjoy? Why are you going to be committed to this long term and have consistent and constant action? So first, one, is it important to you? Two, what is the purpose of you doing it? Three, are you prepared to do what it takes to make it happen? Four, are the rewards of you doing it beneficial as a new discipline, as an exciting lifestyle change that you can enjoy and commit and put in consistent and persistent action? So before you even put the goal together, you got to think about those four. Because first, before you do all that, you got to make sure that you're ready to go, that it makes sense, that it's these, that the, are you willing to do this long term? All right, hope that makes sense. So let's get into this. Let's get into the five. The first one, remember, your goal has to be specific. Specific would mean that it has to be clear and well-defined. Remember, it can't be vague. It can't be generalized. It can't be a basic goal. It can't be something that you can't provide direction to. It needs to be a way that you should have something in place and define and precisely where you want to go and where you want to end up. So your goal would need to have to be specific as possible. So let's say that you wanted to lose weight. You say, I want to lose weight. Okay. I got news for y'all. That's too vague. I want to lose weight. That's too vague, y'all. Exactly. What is it you're looking to achieve and how are you planning to do that? Why do you want to do it? You're going to have to track your progress. You're going to have to write it down. And let's say you want to lose a half a pound a week or a pound a week. You can break that goal into small ones, right? You said, I want to lose 4 pounds. I don't know. I want to lose 4 pounds in a month. You can break that down and say, well, okay, well, then I'm going to lose a pound a week. And you can break that even down to say, well, let me look at my caloric load. And here's the amount of calories I'm going to consume. I have to consume to be at a caloric deficit for me to lose the weight. And here's the exercise that I'm going to have to do in order for me to match that goal. Right? So you broke down a monthly goal of 4 pounds, which is very realistic. Losing 4 pounds of real weight a month is very realistic. But it's going to require you to do small steps now. You got to lose 1 pound a week. From that, you're going to have to be at a caloric deficit. You're going to have to do a certain amount of exercises every week in order for you to accomplish that goal to get to 4 pounds. That's an easy one. And that's one I would give anybody. I would challenge anybody to try to accomplish is losing 4 pounds of real weight in a month. That's doable, but it requires some work and it requires you to goal set. So remember, first, your goal's got to be specific. Next one, it has to be measurable. Measurable means that you have to establish a precise amount, a precise date on the goals to make it measurable so you can identify the degree of success. If your goal is simply defined to reduce your expenses, I want to save money. Okay, well, what does that mean? How long? How much? You know, what is the percentage? Are you planning to do it in a month, a year, 2 years? You have to come up with a game plan of how to make that measurable. How much time? If you don't make the goal measurable, then you don't know how to reach it. You know, let's say weight loss again. Let's say you wanted to lose a pound, or inches you wanted to lose to make your clothes fit looser. You're making that measurable goal a key. Remember, if your measurable goal wanted to be that you want to lose 25 pounds, you got to come up with a healthy rate. Are you going to lose half a pound a week? You're going to lose a pound a week. And if you said that again, if you want to lose a pound a week, half a pound a week, and it's 25 pounds you want to lose, well, you got to back that thing out. 25 pounds, if I'm going to lose a pound a week, calculate it. Right now, it's starting to come like real. You're starting to see it because you're looking at it and you put it in small components. 25 pounds, okay, then you could do it in 25 weeks if you're doing that right. Maybe give yourself another couple of weeks, say 30 weeks, I'll lose 25 pounds. Give yourself a little wiggle room for the weeks that you slip. Right? But you got to back that thing out. You can't come up with this number without you backing it out and then coming up with a game plan of exercise, nutrition, getting sleep, focused effort. And you can't let anything distract you. A very helpful thing is going to for you to get a tracking device, you know, something that's going to help you track and burn your calories. If you're walking, maybe a Fitbit, maybe an Apple Watch. If you want to track your food, maybe MyFitnessPal. But you're going to have to make this measurable so you can see it, you can track it, and you can make this thing real so you can line it up and start saying, okay. The next one's got to be attainable. Attainable, accountable. So you got to make sure that this is possible. Can you even achieve it? Is it realistic to you? You want to lose 25 pounds, but are you willing to commit and be accountable to your decision? Is it an achievable goal for you? Yes, it's an achievable goal, but it's an achievable goal for you. And are you committed to achieve it? I hope so. So the only thing is that even anything that's attainable, accountable, you know that we are resistant to change. And the urge for you not to accomplish these goals will be very easy. And you can be compromised very easily. So remember, if you're trying to accomplish something, you know it's going to be hard. It's going to require work. You're going to have to change some thought process. You're going to have to change a habit. You're going to have to set realistic, futuristic goals. You're going to have to risk the fear of failing. You're going to have to risk the fear of non-achievement. But it has to be challenged. It has to be a challenging goal, and you have to set many goals for you to hit in order for you to balance and just accomplish what you want to go. But you're going to have to raise the bar. You're going to have to raise your own bar, and you're going to have to seek greatest potential and satisfaction for greatness. In the past, you could look at it and maybe you wrote stuff down on a pen and paper in a journal, and it never lasted more than a few days. And that's because you didn't put anything behind it. People say, well, write down your goals and they'll come into fruition. No, you can write down anything you want to, but if you don't put any action behind it and you don't have a game plan for success, I can guarantee you, you're going to fail. You're going to have to be accountable to you, and better yet, you're going to have to find somebody else to be accountable to. When you're accountable to yourself, that is not a realistic way to win. You're going to have to be accountable to someone else. Someone else also has to hold you accountable for your actions. Because remember, it's easy to stop doing something. But when somebody's in your back pocket watching you, or somebody that is willing to have an open mind, or somebody who's a personal trainer, or somebody who's a coach, or somebody who's a nutritionist, somebody that is in your corner, somebody that is doing the exact same thing, and you're holding each other accountable, you have a better way for success. But you trying to be accountable to your success, you did that before. How did that work? So simple thing, and I keep talking about that, a simple thing to just track your meals is use the MyFitnessPal. Track everything in there. If you want to worry about focus on your eating, do that. If you need help, you need to find maybe a trainer to give you a plan. Maybe you don't understand how to lose a certain amount of weight. Maybe you don't understand how to create a meal plan in order for that to be accomplished. Well, then you're going to have to find somebody that knows how to do it to help you get there. Whether it being a trainer, whether it being a nutritionist, whether it being a coach, whether it being a family or a friend or a relative or somebody that has a background in that particular area, you're going to have to get guidance from somebody, because you can't do it by yourself. And you can sit there and think you will, but it ain't going to happen. So you're going to have to find what I call an accountability buddy. Somebody that is in your corner to make you be accountable. You even have the desire to be more successful because you have somebody that you're leaning towards in order to accomplish the success. You might have somebody you walk in the morning, you come out your house. There might be some days you don't feel like walking. And then that other person like calls you up, you ready? And you're like, yeah, all right. But if you did it by yourself, you probably stay under the covers. But since you know that there's somebody else waiting on you, then you'll probably be more committed to it. And guess what? There'll be days that person may not feel like it, but guess what you're going to do? You're going to call them up and say, hey, let's go. And all of a sudden you're allowing that thing to win. Next one is R. R is realistic or relevant. You got to set a realistic goal. It's got to be something that you are going to keep going. It's going to have to be something that aligns with the goals that you have, your personality, the direction you want to go. These things have to be set in a way that they can't be widely scattered. They can't be inconsistent goals. All these goals that you're trying to do, they have to start meshing with each other. So let's say you have a goal for losing weight. Great. Let's say you have a goal for eating a certain amount of food or lack of food. Let's say you have a goal for exercise. Let's say you have a goal for drinking water. Let's say you have a goal for tracking your food. The beauty of all those goals, they all relate to each other. And just like we were talking about the four basics, they all relate to each other. So you can set a goal in each one of those and get closer to your overall arching goal, which might be weight loss. But you can't have all these and then say, I want to learn how to sew. Right? That's a completely different goal. And my advice to you is focus on one goal at a time. Because when you focus on multiple goals, you end up being scattered brain. And now you're not allowing the RAS to accomplish what it wants. Because now it's like, okay, but what do you want to do? Do you want to sew? Do you want to lose weight? Sewing might be, and I hate to be beating up people are sewing. Ain't nothing wrong with sewing, y'all. Calm down. But let's say if you want to sew, that's great. And that could be an outside extra activity you can do. And you can, all you got to do is go to a couple lessons. You're good. You can learn how to sew. You can't do the same thing when it comes to weight loss, though, because you're talking about past behaviors that you have to adjust. Sewing is a new craft that you're trying to learn, right? So it's got to be realistic. It's got to be relevant. Let's say that if you want to achieve this goal, has to be challenging, but it can't be overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like you could, if we go back to saying you can lose 25 pounds, and that will put you in a healthy state of mind and put you in a healthy place. But that 25 pounds may be too big for your brain to handle at one time. Because you may have never lost that before. And you're like, there's, you know, in the front of you, like 25 pounds sounds good. But the back of you's like, ain't no way in the world. And you'll make yourself quit. You'll talk yourself out of it. So instead of you going 25 pounds, how about 10 pounds? Saying my overall goal is 10. Now you can say, hey, that's realistic. That makes sense. I can see that. 25 pounds might be too big. That may be way out of your brain. It's just not comprehending. So maybe take that scale down and bring it down to 10 and then reduce the amount of time. Right? 10 pounds might be, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 12 weeks. Right? Give yourself 2 weeks, you lose a pound a week. Let me tell you something. If you set a goal for 12 pounds, let's say if set a goal for 10 pounds in 12 weeks, I'm going to guarantee you, if you stay steady, you're going to lose way more than that. You're going to lose way more than that because you're going to be on a grind. You're going to be consistent and persistent, and you're going to have a habit, and you're going to have a desire to succeed. And guess what? You said 10, but you might end up losing 20. Right? The last one has got to be time-based. Time-based goes back to you got to set a deadline. Notice I keep talking about deadlines, dates. You got to you have to set up a time frame and a deadline that you can achieve this, because there's got to be an end of the rainbow. There's got to be a celebration for your success. We don't like achieving things without an end in sight. If you're going to try to accomplish a goal, you got to have an end date. You got to have something in sight. You have to have something that is at the end of this is what I'm going to do. You might even have a celebration. You might have a certain clothes that you want to buy. I use the analogy for clients. And when we get started, I want them to find a clothes in their closet that they clearly cannot wear. And then we set the goal for you to get into that piece of clothing. And then the excitement when you get into this clothing that you said in the beginning, there's no way I'm getting into this. But Wallace said, go find an outfit that you can't wear. And then at the end, you get into this thing. You like, wow. It's the sense of accomplishment. You set up a time, you set up a date, and we just focused and said, boom, let's get to it. And you get to the end of it and you got it. And it's even way before the end of the goal. You got into the outfit way before that. And you're like, man, if I got into this outfit, ain't no telling what I could do. So make sure that it's time-based. Make sure you got to set you got to have a set time. It can't be a no time limit. It can't be an extended time because you're not going to stay motivated and you're going to have no end date. So if you say to yourself 6 months to lose weight, okay, but then you got to come up with a target. What are you going to do? How much are you going to lose? What's the game plan? And then once you start seeing the results, you see your clothes starting to fit, you start getting motivated to start and do another goal. Because when you finish that goal, don't say, yay, celebrate. No, set another one. Set another goal now and say, okay, cool, I did that. Woo, now watch this. Because your momentum is there. Your excitement is there. Your attitude is there. Now you take that and you just run. So now that you set and establish these goals, it makes more sense. And now you see how you can set more goals. And now maybe you set goals for every week. Maybe 1 week, I'm drinking more water. Another week, I'm tracking my food. Another week, I don't know, I'm getting some rest. Another week, I'm turning off the television. Another week, I'm buying organic food. Another week. And you're setting these smaller goals because now you see the success. it's easier for you to achieve the things that you want to achieve. Last thing I'm going to say about this goal setting is you got to avoid from being distracted. When you're setting a goal for yourself, there's going to be distractions, but you're going to have to set up some kind of template in place to prevent you from being distracted every time something else comes. Because I'm telling you, the enemy is going to mess with you. And you don't know where it's going to come from. But it's amazing when you start going after a goal, how all this stuff starts happening. It's like the universe wants to test you. Like, let me just make sure she's willing to commit to do this. And I'm going to throw some stuff in her way and see if she's willing to jump over these hurdles to still go after what she said, unquote, unquote, was important. You're going to get a struggle. If you want a testimony, there's going to be a test. You cannot have a testimony without a test. There's going to be a test. I guarantee it. It is not going to be smooth. You're not going to be able to accomplish your goal from the front end to the back end. And man said, that was easy. Oh, no, it's not. There's too many distractions out here. Too many. So let's clear this up, and then I'm going to leave this platform open. Number one, it's got to be, goals have to be smart. First, it's got to be specific. It's got to be measurable. It's got to be attainable. It's got to be relevant, and it's got to be time-based. You got to be motivated about it. You got to be able to write them down, and you're going to have to make them tangible for you. You're going to have to set the plans. You're going to have to set the steps, and you're going to have the ability to realize that these goals, and after you get the goal, you cross that off and you make a new one. You cross that off, you make a new one. You should live your life as a goal-setting machine. You should never be in a position that you don't have a goal. I'm not saying you got to be relentless, like, oh, what you doing today? Oh, I'm just goal setting. I'm just goal setting. No. But in the back of your mind, you got to have somewhere to go. You got to have a direction. When you run aimlessly, you get in trouble. When you get too much idle time, that's when you get in trouble. I'd rather you set a goal and have that in the back of your mind that when things get rough, you know which direction you're supposed to go. You have a true north. But if you don't have a true north, I'm telling you, you stay idle, you're going to get in trouble somehow. An idle mind always gets in trouble, eventually. So I'd rather you set up some goals, make them powerful, set them up so you have an ideal future, make them motivating for yourself to turn your vision into reality. The process of setting goals is not easy, but it's a simple process if you just look at it, like we just said, in the SMART. If you look at it from S.M.A.R.T and then chop it up in bite-sized pieces, then the goal is more obtainable than you trying to say at the beginning of the year that I want to lose weight. And then you decide you want to just clean your cupboards and you want to go to the supermarket and buy $300 worth of healthy food, and you think that's going to make the change. Or you want to buy I forgot what the bike is now, but he's buying. Or you want to go buy one of the mirror, or you want to buy that bike that everybody's buying, and you want to buy it at the beginning of the year. Listen, by March, that thing's going to be a coat rack unless you set up a goal. The equipment that you got right now, I guarantee you probably got equipment right now in your house. It's a coat rack. Because it wasn't a desire. It wasn't a goal. It was just something I wanted to do right now. And it was temporary fix. And it wasn't anything in place for you to achieve the goal. And you just let it run its course. And now it's a coat rack. So the only thing I ask you to do is that whenever you set a goal and go after your desires, please use it in a fashion that you can build something and build on top of that, build on top of that, build on top of that, build on top of that. And by the time that you look at it, you'll realize not only did you achieve the goal you wanted, but you would achieve a lot more. All right. So that's what I wanted to cover. That was on my, hold on. Sorry, that was on my heart today. I hope y'all received something out of that. And the only thing I'm going to ask you to do is that if you set up a goal for yourself, you got to make it smart. If you think about anything you accomplished in the past, I guarantee you may not have looked at it that way. But when you started lining it all up, you probably realize, wow, that's what I did. I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. Remember, your brain is a heat-seeking device, and it's looking for a goal to attack. And when it's idle, you get in trouble. But when you give it something to do, it will accomplish whatever you want to. Guaranteed. That's not a maybe. Guaranteed. All right, so I hope that was helpful, y'all. Any questions? Anything from y'all? Anything?